Alright, rats, gather round. I'm going to talk about something dumb. I'm Taran Game Dev, and I brought a dream game to two conventions. We all know what a dream game is, we all probably have had one. A dream game is when someone thinks about a game idea non-stop. Day and night, they are thinking about making the next big game that has a million different mechanics and combines every good idea into one beautiful masterstroke, despite very little actual knowledge of game development and no real thought as to how the game would actually play. If you tell anyone about your dream game, it's the same as talking about your D&D campaign to someone who doesn't actually play D&D. It's the worst. No one cares, no one's interested, everyone gets up and leaves. The internet is scoured with them. Every comment section in game development has someone saying that they're making their dream game and they need someone else to help them. They've got the world, story, and characters perfectly in their head. They just need someone else to do the rest. Everything else. I'm no stranger to this. In fact, I've probably had 10 or more dream games floating in my head prior to learning game development. However, I had to be realistic. I prided myself on it. So when I got my education in game dev, from one of those schools that advertises hand in a game instead of handing in essays, I knew I couldn't make my dream game at this school. I shouldn't. It'd fail. Lo and behold, I was right. It absolutely would have. I made whatever came to mind at the time and took the latest dream game in my head and pushed it down. Deep down. But then, 2 years later, when my education ended, I brought it back up and told my friends how silly it was, how stupid I was for thinking such a game could exist, and that I could even make it. And the more I talked about it, the weirdest things started to happen. People started sitting down to listen. Originally, I was making the game through RPG Maker. I will take no slander about the RPG Maker series. They are gods at what they do. I thought all the planning for the game had to be done through a single A4 mind map, filled out with nonsense. I had a class list ripped straight from WoW, a bunch of different races, a skill list copied from RuneScape, the map from Deltora Quest, and no story. I aimed for a mobile release because, at the time, I mistakenly thought that mobile games were the equivalent of aiming for a low scope, and making a massive RPG game would be realistic, but only if I aimed on a phone platform. I had a checklist of different mechanics that I wanted to be in the game. A day and night cycle, seasons, bounty posters, multi-classing, a building system, a crafting system, terraforming, big scary boss fights. And yet somehow 90% of gameplay would be from a Clash of Clans-esque isometric view. It made no sense. Early in the days of YouTube, the Yogscast made a mock Minecraft drama series called Shadow of Israfel. And in this series, the two protagonists played the part of two real-life people playing a Minecraft world that somehow got mutated into a living tapestry of fiction. Characters, backstories, villains, legends, motifs, quests just kept appearing out of the blue. With it brought the initial rumours of Minecraft Adventure Mode, something me and my friends took to believe exactly what happened to the Yogscast is what would happen to us if we played. This was the core seed idea for my game, and at the time, and even now, completely impossible to make. I need to accept that Shadow of Israfel was a scripted show, and anything paling that light, generating entire stories from nothing, would be a miracle. Besides all of that, I also run an in-depth D&D campaign for roughly 8 years at this point. And in this campaign, I am absolutely obsessed with the logistics of my make-believe world. I kept track of bank records, economies, guild registers, businesses within the guilds, a detailed timeline of events, what NPCs were spending their money on, what settlements in the region were dealing with what outside of the party, rival adventuring parties going on their own adventures. Not just the carry weight, but also the space in the containers they were carrying. Hunger, thirst, exhaustion, ammo consumption, morale, loyalty, unique currency, sanity, cold shots, lingering injuries, breaking equipment, hygiene, downtime activities, especially downtime activities. No other game even came close to giving this immersive system that D&D does. And that was it. That was what I could offer. To take everything I do for my own personal D&D games and put that experience in a game. In the last months of my education, a speaker came to our campus to give a talk about hiring in the games sector. His advice to us included a story where he mentioned a recent hire who went through the process of making 12 games in the span of 1 year. 12 months, 12 games. I attempted to do something similar, making a Unity project and going through the last 12 Game of the Year winners and seeing if I could recreate their major mechanics within a month. I failed. By month 3, I got overwhelmed and decided to just start making anything in that Unity project. Something I did make was an interaction system that took into account the character's range of smell, or their arm length, or how far they could listen. When it came to deciding how far the character should be from in-game objects when interacting with them, you could put all your points into ear strength, and suddenly your character could be across the map and starting dialogue options. This was dumb, but it got attention, and then I made a meme in the same vein, inspired by handwriting on a whiteboard in my share house. This exploded. This got me over the edge and got the project plenty of attention. Fast forward a month and a good friend of mine pushes me to apply for South Australia Game Exhibition in 2025. At the time, all I had working was a dialogue box and the stupid interaction gag. And for whatever reason, it was the meme, I still got accepted. I had 3 months to get the project together. The turnout was amazing and people really connected with the game. And I'm still eternally grateful to everyone involved. I even got artists involved to help with character art. Immediately after this, I applied to go to AvCon in the same year. This was a mistake. I thought I could carry the same momentum from the last 3 months into the next 6 months. I couldn't. I got a basic combat loop out of it and learnt that I was severely behind in where I wanted the project to actually be. But now I'm a year into production, and for the first time, Tales of Torest isn't in a time crunch. It's time to step back and polish what is now a solid cluster of my dream game. Tales of Torest is an isometric JRPG that focuses on interactions in between adventures. Instead of clearing dungeons and selling the loot, rinse and repeat, we clear the dungeons, return to our homes, pay our taxes, upkeep our property, meal prep, make sure everyone's healthy, stock up for the next adventure, and work a job to make enough money to make ends meet. The environment around you operates similar to a SimCity-like economy in a fantasy setting, however you interact with it through an adventuring party. When your characters die, the world persists. You can roll new characters to continue the adventure with impacts from your previous characters. The game keeps track of interactions and decisions you've sought out before, and tailors your next encounter to match, for a slow-paced, immersive roleplay experience. When you play games like Minecraft, you don't say, "Look at my character," or "Look at the character build I'm playing." You say things like, "Look at my world." Imagine that, but it's in a fantasy setting. For fans of worlds like Faerun and Howl's Moving Castle, Tales of Torest is going to be an RPG experience like no other. I've been Taran Game Dev, and if you're still watching, make sure to follow the project on Instagram, as well as Patreon and itch.io. Thanks so much for watching.